I will. So, yeah, I think we should start now. Sorry, it's already time. Um, so before
Also, it's
we,
okay. I can wait.
okay, it's already wait. So I think we should start our session right now. So before we start today's session, I would like to ask a few. I would like to say a few words. So for the audience, please mute yourself during this session in order to ensure for a smooth running events. And for the speaker, please turn on your camera for better connection with the audience. Thank you, Bong. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chich Tai, and I'm a freshman for civil engineering department, and your MC for IT Day. It's my pleasure to welcome all you here this afternoon. I hope you enjoy the previous session, and we would like to thank you all for joining us in today's event. So, for this session, I would like to invite our speaker, Mr. Chikang Eng, who is our senior from Computer Science Department, to present about game development with Unity, which is a very interesting topic that focus on understanding the game process, how computer can generate maps and levels using procedural generation and finite state machine. And if you have any question during the session, please feel free to write them down in the chat box or wait until the end for Q&A part and turn on your microphone to ask the presenter yourself directly. So without further ado, I would like to pass the mic to our speakers. Good luck and the stage is yours.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so welcome everyone. This is my presentation on game development with Unity. So first, I would like to thank my supervisor, Dr. Marumbak, and my project coordinator, Ms. Amrudi, for coordinating the project. Okay, so today I'll be discussing my objective, the basic 2D game development, the procedural generation, the finite state machine, the tool and technology, and then I'll show you the demo. Okay, so the objective for my game is to generate the first understand the game development in the 2D, and then I will look into the procedural generation, and I will talk about the finite state machine. Okay, so first let's begin with the game dev. So what we have here is just a simple graph. So for the computer, when the computer want to understand the coordinate of something, it use the x and y axis. So for normal human, our x and y axis would be the horizontal, and y would be the vertical going up. But for the computer, the y is opposite, where it is going down instead. So, for example, I have this Mario character here, and if I want to move the character to the left, I would change the x-axis, and if I want to move it to the right, I'll increase it, and moving it up and down, I will change the y-axis. So next is the hitbox. The hitbox is one of the most important component when talking about game development. So as you can see, on all of these objects are green square around it, and the square is used to represent the hitbox. So on our Mario character here, you can see the hitbox surrounding the player, and the use of the hitbox on Mario is, for example, when Mario lands on the floor tile, the hitbox of Mario would interact with the hitbox of the floor tile, and so when they interact with each other, the game will update to not let Mario fall through the floor tile. And the same with the coin. When Mario, the hitbox of Mario touch the hitbox of the coin, the game will delete the coin and give the player a score. And the same for the enemy. If the side of the player touch the enemy, it will decrease one health. And if sorry, one moment. Sorry about that. So let me continue. So as I was saying, when the Mario character touch the side of the enemy here, it will decrease the health of the player. But when the bottom hitbox of the player hit the top of the enemy, it will kill the enemy. And the same goes for the bullet too. When it connect with the player, it will decrease the player health. And also, the hitbox is also on the goal. When the player touch the goal, it will update the game and proceed to the next level. So that was the two main basic game development. So now I will start to talk about the procedural generation. So in my game, I have two different type of procedural generation. One is the map generation, where I try to generate a completely random map, and the second one is the dungeon generation, where I try to generate a map based on with a pre-made level. So first, let's look into the map generation. For this method, I use the cellular automaton method, where you pick a cell in the grid. For example, in this gray square here, you pick the middle square, and then you count the surrounding. If the surrounding have one number more than the other, the middle will change to that number. So in this case, the surrounding have 4, 1 and 4, 0. So the middle will stay the same. And so let's look at the square right here, the 0 square here. If we count the surrounding, we can see it have 2, 0 and it have 6, 1. So in the game, it will change this 0 into a 1 and then move to the next cell. So now I will show you a demo of how the map generation works. Okay, so I just start the game and it just generated this map right here. I hope you can see it. So what when it first starts, it just generate the surrounding border here with water, and then it start to randomly fill the grid of in the center here. And so for now, it is completely random. But when I move on to apply the cellular automaton method, it will smooth out the map. So this is the first step of the method. Okay, so after applying the first step, the map now looks like this. It's a lot more cleaner, but there are still small details that that is sticking out, like this jagged edge right here, and all these small puddle. So we apply the cellular automaton method again, and this is the next result. And if we keep on going, we will get a smoother map. Okay, so this is the result after applying the method 5 to 6 times. And so okay, and so I can generate another random map to show the step again. So this is completely random, and when I fill it, as you can see, it starts to smooth out the map and remove all the small details. And another feature of the map is that the randomness is it is generated from a seed. So if I disable this random seed here and use this time seed right here, it will generate the same map over and over again. So as you can see, it's still the same map. So that's how my generation works. And also, it also have this fill percentage where it take care of what percentage should be water and what percentage should be land when it first generate. So if I increase this by a lot, as you can see, it generates a lot of water and less land. So for me, from my experience, I find that 42 is the best number to generate an island. Okay, so that was the map generation. Next is the dungeon generation. And how the dungeon generation works is by before generating, I need to first create 6 level here. Sorry, I mean 16 level. And then I put all these level into an array and let the game generate. First start with the 4 opening here. So I will show you in the game. As you can see, it first start off with just this single room here with 4 opening. And so how it works is that it have this spawn point here, where it use that spawn point to generate a room. So in this case, the spawn point is at on the top, so it will try to generate a room with a bottom opening. And the same goes for the left one. If when it's on the left, it will try to generate a room with a right opening so that it connects together. And the same for the right and the bottom. So I will show you the demo. So as you can see, the game start trying to generate a map, and the reason that you can see you see it looping over and over again is because I set the condition that the maximum room is 15. So if the room exceed the maximum number, it will generate over again. And I also set the minimum room. So if it's spawned to the room too small, it will generate again. So now I will generate the map again. Okay, so as you can see, we start off with this one room here, and it branch out into this dungeon here. And at the end of the dungeon is the boss room right here. And how the boss room works is I have the player right here. Okay, so when I move the player into the boss room, the room will close the door and spawn the boss. Okay, so as you can see, the door is closed, and then the boss is spawned and start to fight with the player. So that's how the dungeon generation works. Next is I will talk about the Fun Estate machine. So in my game, there are two enemies. One is the regular ranged goblin that shoot at the player, and the next one is the boss that you just saw right now. So I will first talk about the regular ranged goblin. So it have three circle here, and these circle have each have its own condition. So the green circle on the outside here is the patrol range. The yellow circle is the fight range, and the red circle is the retreat range. So how it works is when the player, when the player is outside of the green circle, the enemy is idle, so it doesn't move. But when the player enter the green and yellow circle, the enemy will start to patrol and chase after the player. And when the player enter the yellow and red circle, the enemy will shoot at the player. And when the player enter the red circle, the enemy will run away from the player. So I will show you a demo of this uh, state machine. Okay, so I have the player on the left here and the enemy goblin on the right. So now when I start the game, you can see that the enemy is in its idle state, so it is not moving. But once I move the player into the green circle, the goblin will start to chase after the player. As you can see, when the player enter the green and yellow circle, it will chase, and when the player enter the yellow and red circle, it will shoot at the player. Okay, and when the player enter the red circle, it will run away from the player. Okay, so that's how the same machine of the regular ranged goblin works. So next is the boss minotaur. The boss have a lot of things, but the main two things that it have is the regular state and the enraged state. So on the regular state, it attack normally, but when it enter the enraged state, it will use a special move. So this is the so this is the animation of the boss. First, when the boss is spawned, it will enter this chant animation, and then it enter the idle state, and then it will enter the run state where the boss will chase after the player, and on a condition that the boss is when the player enter the attack range of the boss will start to chop at the player. And if the player exit the chop state, the boss will keep on chasing. And once the player attack the boss under a certain health, the boss will enter this ref state where it will be enraged, and then it will start to spin, use its spin attack. And once the player defeat the boss will play a death animation. So I will show you the boss enemy. Okay, so this is the animation tree that I showed you just now, and when I start the game, there will be a progress bar under what animation is playing, so you can have a better visualization of what state the boss is in. So when I start the game, it will spawn the boss. Okay, and now the boss entered the chance state, and then it entered the idle, and then it start to run it at the player. And once it's get to in within range, it will start to attack the player. Okay, and if the player run away, it will chase the player. Then attack again when close enough. So now we'll attack the boss to get it to a low health, so that it can enter the enraged state. Okay, and as you can see, it entered the enraged state, and then start to use the spin attack on the player. And the boss movement speed also increase. Now we'll shoot at the boss. Okay, and as you can see, just now it played the death animation, and then we entered the credit of the game. So that's how the boss Minotaur works. So next I will talk about the tool and technology that I use. So I mainly, for the game, I just used Unity. Unity is a very popular game engine, and it is free, and it have a very big community. So when I encounter a problem, there most likely there is an answer. I mean, someone already asked the question, so I can just Google the problem, and most likely I will get the answer. And if I don't get the answer, there's also a Discord community that help with Unity problem. So when I get stuck with a problem that I can't solve, I will try and look for help in the Discord community. And also for the ad asset in the game, the player and the enemy and the boss, it's all I found it all out on itch.io. Itch.io is an online game asset store. So there are a lot of free stuff on the store. So I use the free asset in my game. Okay, so next is the demo. But before I let you play the game, I did not implement any tutorial for the game. So I will explain it in this slide here. So when the game first start, it will show you a menu screen, and when you click start, it will spawn the player on this on the overworld map here. And on the map there are five caves. So the goal of this map is to destroy 5 of the cave, and the cave is guarded by this goblin. There are a random amount from 3 to 6 goblin for each cave. And once you defeat and once you destroy 5 of the cave, this ladder will spawn. And when the player touch the ladder, it will transport the player to the dungeon level. So this is the dungeon level, and the goal is the player have to navigate through the dungeon and find the bathroom. And once the player find the bathroom, the player will have to fight with the boss. And if the player lose all of its health, it will lose. And if the player defeat the boss, it will win. Okay, so for the control of the game, you can use either the WASD or the arrow key, and it is used to control the player. And for attack, you use the mouse to aim, and then the left click to shoot. Okay, so I will paste the link to the game here. So you can try the game with this link here. And a warning before you click, I add a music to the game, but a lot of people say that it's too loud, so I forgot to adjust it. So when you start the game, if the music is too loud, right click on the tab here and click on mute side. So that will mute the music. And also in the game, I did not add any sound effects, so the music is all you get. So that's all for my presentation. And if you have any question, feel free to ask.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chikang, for your wonderful explanation of how games develop on games development and how games works, and it's very wonderful. Thank you for that. And is the so now is the Q&A session. If you have any question, please kindly ask in the chat box, or you can ask them yourself directly to the presenter. So, do you have any question?
I think they are playing the game right now, so we
Yeah.
should wait.
If you you can play the game right now. If you after playing the game, you might ask a question, but during which I would like to ask Brenta a few questions. So, why do you choose that? Why you choose to explain about this topic?
I choose game development because it's an interesting topic. I've never done it before, so I uh, am interested in game development. So I for my final year project, I just use uh, do the project, learn about the game development.
So, can you probably during while you're doing this project, I think you have some sort of maybe difficulty making the projects. What are those while you making the project? Yeah.
So some of the most difficult part of the project is the procedural generation, especially the dungeon generation, because it have a lot of component in the game, and uh, it is it also sometimes it can generate a random opening in the game where it will cause an error. So it's there's a lot of bugs to fix in the dungeon generation. So it's one of the most difficult part of the development.
So okay, so I think maybe um we I think maybe we should end this session. I think I will let the audience enjoy having fun playing your games. I will try and play myself as well, and I will tell you the result later if I actually win or not. So if you don't have any questions, I would like to end this session. And thank you to our speakers for your splendid presentations. And on the behalf of ICT faculty, thank you all for making your time to join us here this afternoon. And I'm apologizing for any issues that happened during this session. And I would like to inform you all that the next session will start soon at 3:50. So you can stay here in this meeting. You can watch the next presentation about EPR, New System Testing Coordination for Students, by our senior from MIS department, Mr. Sokompo and Mr. Pisatiriet Botom. And at 4 p.m., there is a ongoing game competition workshop until 6 p.m. on Discord with our junior student, Mr. Uh, Pusdap Ben Tuan, and Mr. Pon Penyawat Pech, and Mr. Pech Sehat Rigno, and Mr. Johnny Hustri from MIS department, course MIS 302. Uh, for other exciting event, please go and exciting session, please go and check out all the agenda on our IT Day website. Thank you. I will see you in the next session. Bye.